Marilyn Cruz bought her home in 2005, thinking she had made all the right calculations and was able to afford her mortgage payments. Only, things changed after a year.
Cuando yo la compré, yo tenía todo detallado.
When I bought the house, I had everything calculated and was sure everything was in place and had the money I needed for the monthly payments and a little bit more. They called me a year later to let me know that the payments were going to come up $500. No one had told me that when we did the closing. Then, 6 months after that, they raised it another $300. So all my calculations were no longer in place. Things were different now. And that's when the MET begins and you get to the point you can no longer keep up. The last payment I made was in April 2007.
Abril de 2007.
And although she did not fall for it, when looking for help, all she found was a long list of foreclosure rescue scams.
Yo he llamado a muchas compañías.
I have called many companies and community agencies. The first thing they told you is, yes, come on in and bring all your papers. We are going to help you. And then you go, take your time to sit with them, and then they told you you have everything in order, but they are going to charge you $1,800, $2,500, $3,000, depending. And that they cannot guarantee that everything will be fixed, and in case they can't solve it, they will only keep 50% or 25%. Well, that's when they change. So if that's the way it works, then I can do it by myself.
Sí, pues yo misma lo puedo hacer.
Feeling like there's nowhere else to turn, Marilyn has been trying to sell the house or refinance, but hasn't been successful.
Yo tengo dos esperanzas.
Well, I have two hopes. One is the hope to sell it and get out of the situation. The other is the hope that I might be able to solve the situation, keep the house, and be able to start again. I've always had it for sale, but the price they give me is never even close to what it's worth. I can't refinance either because the first thing that goes bad in this situation is the credit score. And first thing they look at is at your credit. So, where do you stand?
Entonces, ¿a dónde uno queda?
After so many failed attempts, Marilyn feels all there's left to do is return the house, but hasn't been allowed to do that either, and feels stuck in a situation where no choice is right.
Ni me dejan quedarme con la casa.
They don't let me keep the house because they say I can't afford it now. But I can't give it back either or sell it because practically no one is buying now. So I can't afford to keep up with the payments, I can't give it back, I can't sell it, so where am I? I'm in a situation where I can go one way or another.
Que ni para un lado ni para el otro.
There came a point where it just didn't seem like there were many people willing to help homeowners in trouble. Sharon Price, the Cruz family tried.
Right.
They anticipated their problems. They knew they were in trouble, and it seems like there was nobody who could address this woman's problem, and she's on the verge of losing her house.
Sure. I mean, that's such a sad story and such a typical story, it seems, in the past couple of years. Families that have tried to do the right thing and were unaware of the contracts that they signed, and to some extent, they were taken advantage of. And then the question is, how do you rectify that situation? And there have been counseling dollars out there for the past couple of years. There's the 888 Hope Now number that people can call to get help. But not everyone knows about that. So the question is, so a family like that, there are resources, but that they may not know about those resources, and that there are all these rescue scams out there. So really having someone to do the hard work for them of working with the servicer to trying to figure out a deal, because it's hard as a layperson to be able to navigate. You may get one person on the phone who says they'll give you one deal at your lending agency, and you speak to someone else and you get a different deal. So it's a hard system to navigate, and I think what the new plan is intended to do is to try and make things a little bit more consistent, have guidelines that say here is how the lenders and the servicers are going to act, and here is what you can expect as the homeowner.
But if you pick up a newspaper, if you're Mrs. Cruz, and you pick up the newspaper, the ads for not-for-profit
Absolutely.
agencies that want to help you work something out look pretty much the same as the ads from scam artists and people who want to take your money up front and then do nothing for you but keep half of it.
Yeah.
How do you work this system if, for instance, your English isn't so great,
Right.
or you aren't aware of financial institutions even in your neighborhood, or you live in an underserved area where there are no decent actors in this?
And that's where the community groups really need to step up. And I think that the administration is counting on a lot of groups like ours and community groups to really step in and be a voice for trying to educate people and to get the word out. Because really, that's the most important thing, is making sure that the right information is out there. There's actually a new website that the administration has launched, financialstability.gov, that has all of the resources about this new plan and has questions and answers for families as well.